Your entire life savings are now just paper. The grid is silent. You can smell the rust and desperation as the grocery stores are picked clean. This is the great paradox. The most valuable thing you can own right now isn't gold. It's a box of tampons. Your stock portfolio won't save you. But the ability to stop an infection will make you a god. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to show you the new currency, the portfolio that actually keeps you breathing. The Trinity of immediate survival. When the world ends, the first 72 hours are a brutal filter. And the things that will get you killed are the things you take for granted. The first is water. You can last 3 weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. And when the taps run dry, people think, it'll just boil it. That is a fatal amateur mistake. Boiling water requires fuel, which is now a scarce and contested resource. It takes time, at least 10 minutes of a rolling boil to be safe, which you don't have when you're on the move. And most importantly, a fire creates a column of smoke by day and a beacon of light by night. It is a giant flashing neon sign for every desperate armed person within a 5-mile radius to come and investigate. This is why the first piece of your new portfolio is water purification tablets. They are silent, they are fast, they are invisible. In 30 minutes, a chlorine dioxide tablet, a powerful oxidizer that tears apart pathogens on a molecular level, turns a stagnant, parasite-filled puddle into life-giving hydration. It neutralizes the things that cause the most death and disasters. Cholera, giardia, dysentery, cryptosporidium. One small, dark-colored bottle, easily concealed, can purify hundreds of gallons. People in failed states have traded a week's worth of food for a single blister pack. This isn't about convenience. It's about tactical, silent survival. It's the difference between hydration and a gut-emptying plague. The second part of this trinity is fire. We've forgotten that fire is a technology, the ancient one that separates us from animals. It purifies water, cooks our food, gives us warmth against the killing cold, and provides profound psychological comfort. But we have outsourced this critical skill to a flick of the wrist. I want you to try starting a fire with sticks when it's pouring rain, when you are wet, when you're shivering so hard you can't control your hands and your life depends on it. It is a humbling, brutal, and often fatal experience. Most will fail. The fire triangle, heat, fuel, oxygen, is simple in theory but vicious in practice. This is why a simple, disposable lighter is survival gold. Forget matches. They are fragile. They get wet. They are ruined by humidity. Forget ferro rods. They are excellent tools, but they require skill and, crucially, perfectly prepared dry tinder, which is often impossible to find in a storm. A single Bic lighter, however, guarantees the heat portion of the triangle. It offers you thousands of guaranteed chances at fire. It requires zero skill. During the Bosnian War, a single lighter was trading for a month's worth of food. People burned through the one they had and then realized far too late they should have stockpiled 100. I buy them by the 50-pack, vacuum seal them, and stash them everywhere. They are cheap now. They will be priceless later. And the third, the invisible killer, infection. You slice your hand on a rusty fence while scavenging. The clinics are closed, the hospitals are overwhelmed war zones, the pharmacies have been looted clean. That small cut, which you would normally ignore, gets red. It gets hot. It starts to throb. Within 48 hours, a red line is tracking up your arm. You develop sepsis. Your body, in a desperate attempt to fight the infection, begins to shut down its own organs. You die, miserably, feverishly, from something a simple pill could have cured. This is how people died for all of human history before modern medicine, and it's how they will die again. When the antibiotics are gone, people will trade anything for a single course of amoxicillin. Here is the secret. Fish antibiotics. You can buy them over the counter online right now. It is the exact same molecule, the same dosage, the same compound, just marketed for aquariums. Look for the cillins, the cyclines, and the floxacins. Store them in a cool, dark, dry place, and they remain potent for years past their printed expiration date. The ability to treat an infection doesn't just make you a survivor, it makes you a walking pharmacy. You become the new doctor. You become a source of authority and power, capable of saving your family or trading a pill for a week's worth of supplies. The currency of dignity and defense. But survival isn't just about medicine. It's about dignity. Half the population bleeds once a month. This biological reality does not stop for the apocalypse, but the supply chain for hygiene products will be one of the first to break, and it will not recover. This is why tampons and feminine hygiene products become an immediate high-value currency. This isn't just about comfort, it's about health and morale. Without them, women are forced to use rags, which require precious, purified water to wash, creating a dangerous cycle of sanitation risk. This can lead to life-threatening infections like toxic shock syndrome. The psychological toll, the feeling of being unclean and undignified, is a massive morale breaker. But their value is twofold, which makes them a prepper's dream. Tampons are, by design, sterile, highly absorbent, and compactly packaged in a waterproof wrapper. They are a perfect pre-made pressure bandage for traumatic wounds. Military medics have used them in emergencies to plug gunshot wounds when supplies ran out, as they expand and apply direct pressure. They are also, when fluffed up, one of the most effective fire tinders you can find. They are cheap, they never expire, and they solve a desperate, recurring problem for billions of people. You will be able to trade these for almost anything. While you're stocking up on the small things, don't overlook the most versatile tool of all: heavy-duty contractor garbage bags, not the flimsy white kitchen bags. I mean the 3mm thick black industrial bags. This isn't just for trash. This is the single most underrated survival item on the planet. This bag is your shelter. When it's pouring rain and you're freezing, you cut a hole in the bottom and 2 in the sides, and it's an instant 100% waterproof poncho. This immediately defeats convective heat loss from wind and rain. When the ground is soaked and cold, it's your ground tarp, preventing conductive heat loss from the earth sucking the warmth from your body. You can fill it with leaves, grass, and debris to create a makeshift insulated sleeping pad. You can use it as a vapor barrier inside your shelter or clothing to stop evaporative heat loss, the primary cause of hypothermia. You can collect rainwater with it or line a hole to create a makeshift cistern. You can even use it to create a solar still to distill drinking water from damp ground using the sun's heat. One box of 50 bags costs less than a pizza and solves 100 different life-threatening problems. It is a tent, a raincoat, a water carrier, and a blanket, all in one. The architects of the new world. Once the immediate chaos of the first few weeks settles, the economy will shift. It will move from immediate survival to long-term sustainability. And here, the old world gives us clues. Salt is so common we throw it on frozen roads. But for most of human history, salt was currency. Roman soldiers were paid in it. The very word salary comes from sal, the Latin for salt. Wars were fought over it. Why? Because without sodium, you die. Your body is a complex electrical system, and salt, as an electrolyte, is the fluid that makes that system run. You sweat it out, you don't replace it, and your body enters a state of hyponatremia. Your cells, starved of sodium, begin to swell with water. This includes your brain cells. You're facing muscle cramps, disorientation, confusion, seizures, and finally death. But its real power in a post-grid world is preservation. There is no refrigeration. How do you stop your hunted game or your harvested food from rotting in 3 days? You salt it. You cure it. By packing meat in salt, you create a hypertonic environment where water is ripped out of bacterial cells by osmosis, killing them instantly. Salt makes food last for months, not days. The person with a 50-pound bag of salt controls the food supply. And food is everything. This brings us to the ultimate long-term asset. Everything else on this list is about surviving the ruins of the old world. This item is about building the new one. I'm talking about seeds. But not just any seeds. They must be heirloom, non-GMO, open-pollinated seeds. Here's why. Hybrid seeds, the kind most commercial farms and hardware stores sell, are a genetic dead end. They are the F1 generation, bred for one specific trait like uniform shipping size, but their offspring, the F2 generation, are sterile or revert to an inferior, unpredictable plant. They are a one-time use product, a subscription model for your food. Heirloom seeds, conversely, are genetic wealth. They create plants that produce viable, true-to-type seeds for the next generation. It is an infinite loop of food production. You plant them once, you harvest, you save the seeds, and you plant again. Forever. Focus on calorie-dense crops. Beans for protein, squash and potatoes for carbohydrates and long-term storage, tomatoes for vitamins. A single packet of tomato seeds weighing less than an ounce can produce hundreds of pounds of food, which in turn produces tens of thousands of new seeds. That is an empire in a foil packet. For storage, they must be kept cool, dry, and dark, preferably in mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. In a barter economy, seeds are the perfect currency. Lightweight, standardized, and representing future food security. You're not just trading seeds, you're trading freedom. Of course, rebuilding is messy and things will break. This is where duct tape becomes the universal problem solver. It is not elegant, it is not a permanent fix. But in a collapse scenario, a fast solution beats a perfect solution every single time. Your boot sole splits, threatening you with trench foot. Your tent rips in a freezing windstorm. Your water container springs a leak, threatening your most precious resource. Your backpack strap snaps, forcing you to carry your gear by hand. Duct tape is the answer. It can patch that boot, fix that shelter, seal that container, and create a makeshift sling or splint. NASA uses it in space, the military uses it in war zones. It is waterproof, incredibly strong, and flexible. One roll can solve 1,000 different problems right now. When all manufacturing has stopped, when you can't just buy a new one, the person who can improvise, patch, and repair is the person who endures. Buy it in bulk. Store it in a cool, dry place, as the adhesive can degrade in high heat over many years, but it's one of the most stable, versatile tools you can possibly own. The tools of a forgotten age. As you rebuild, you'll rely on tools. But some of the most valuable are the ones we've completely forgotten. Take paracord, specifically military specification 5 and 50 paracord. This isn't just rope. It's a high-performance survival system in a tiny package. The outer sheath alone has a tensile strength of 550 pounds. You can use it to build shelters, secure gear, lower a pack down a cliff, or create a tourniquet by using a stick as a windlass. But the real magic is hidden inside. Cut it open and you will find 7 individual 2-ply inner strands. You can pull these strands out. Suddenly, you have high-strength fishing line. You have snare wire for trapping small game. You have sewing thread for repairing your gear or even suturing a wound in a desperate emergency. You have dental floss, which is critical for long-term oral hygiene to prevent a debilitating abscess. One 100-foot length of paracord contains 800 total feet of usable cordage. You can weave the outer sheath into nets or straps. It's a toolkit you can wear on your wrist as a bracelet. It's rot-resistant, UV-resistant, waterproof, and lasts forever. But all the paracord and duct tape in the world won't help you if you starve to death next to a pile of food. This brings me to what sounds like the stupidest, most trivial item on this list. A manual can opener. I know, it sounds ridiculous. But imagine this. You are staring at a case of canned goods, thousands of life-saving calories, sealed in steel. Your electric can opener is a useless brick. The pull tabs on the cans, which are rarer than you think, have broken off. You try to use your expensive 10-inch survival knife and you are more likely to have the blade skip off the rim and sever an artery in your wrist than you are to get to the food inside. Now you're bleeding out and you still can't eat. A simple $2 P38 style manual opener, the kind issued to soldiers, weighs nothing. It fits on your keychain. It never breaks. It is the one and only tool that stands between you and eating. I have watched people spend $10,000 on long-term food storage, filling their basements, and then have the slow, dawning realization that they own a single, cheap electric opener. They have a vault of food with no key. Buy 5. Put one in every bag, every car, and on your keys. The power of the gods. Finally, we come to the ultimate multipliers. The things that separate survivors from kings. The first is power. Power is modern magic. It is light in the darkness, communication across distance, information at your fingertips. When the grid dies, the person with working batteries has a piece of the old world. But disposable batteries are a countdown timer. Once they're dead, they are trash. The real solution is rechargeable batteries, specifically NiMH, nickel metal hydride batteries in AA and AAA sizes. They are stable, have a low self-discharge, can be recharged thousands of times, and aren't volatile like many lithium-ion cells. Pair them with a small, foldable, durable solar charging system. This creates infinite power as long as the sun rises. This runs your critical gear, your headlamps for hands-free work in the dark, your shortwave radio for gathering information, your GPS unit. But here is the advanced strategy. You are not just trading the batteries, you are trading the service. You become the power station. People will bring you their dead flashlights, their dead radios. You charge them. In exchange, they trade you food, supplies, or labor. You are creating sustainable, ongoing value from sunlight without depleting your own resources. That is sustainable wealth. And this leads to the final, most valuable asset, the one thing that multiplies the value of everything else on this list. Knowledge. When the internet is dead, when your phone is a brick and Google is just a distant memory, what do you actually know? Do you know how to use those antibiotics safely and what the correct dosage is? Do you know which plants in your specific area are edible and which ones are poison? Do you know how to set that snare, tie those knots, or properly salt cure that meat? All these items are just hardware. Your brain, your knowledge, is the software that makes them work. Print it all out. Get physical copies. A medical manual like Where There Is No Doctor. An engineering manual like the SAS Survival Guide. A local laminated guide to edible and medicinal plants. Print instructions for water purification, first aid procedures, and food preservation. Knowledge weighs nothing, it never expires, it cannot be stolen from your mind. In a total collapse, the person who knows how to do things, how to diagnose an illness, fix a tool, or find food, becomes the most valuable person in any room. They become the new leader. Gold is just a pretty rock. You can't eat it, you can't drink it, you can't use it to start a fire when you're freezing. When the system flatlines, true value makes a hard shift away from abstract wealth to practical utility. The new 1% won't be the people who clung to paper. It will be the people who understood what a human being actually needs to stay alive. The people who saw the writing on the wall and quietly stocked up on the boring, cheap, overlooked things. The question is, will you be the one trading your Rolex for a single lighter? Or will you be the person with a box of lighters deciding if the trade is even worth it? Your move. What's the one worthless item you're stockpiling that everyone else is overlooking? Tell me in the comments. The most creative answer might just save a life.